Why isn't this working? Okay. Hello, Six Pack. I am Sparky. I just hit the microphone. Try that again. Hello, Six Pack. I am Sparky, and this is a video on how the mechanics of Palm Island would work. So, if you didn't see, yesterday I released a trailer for a new island of mine called Palm Island, and essentially what it is, it's a Pomely island. um, which is something people have been requesting for quite a while, but I thought, it'd be fun if I would sort of mix it with another island people have been requesting for a while, or another feature, I guess, people have been requesting. Um, so, we're going to start off by saying it is a breeding island, and the monsters that, like, can be gotten through, like, the typical island fashion, it's only 3 elements because it wouldn't make sense to have a fourth one here just based on the fact that Pom Pom is a triple element and Pom Pom and Hula can be gotten just by Pom Pom's combination. So there'd just be a whole bunch of extra monsters here that wouldn't be necessary otherwise. So the monsters that we have that are gotten through this way are Tweedle, Mammoth, Noggin, and those are the singles. And for doubles, we have Cybop, Pango, Drumpler, and then of course, Pom Pom and Hula. And just like Seasonal Shanty, Hula would be available all year round. What's different about this island compared to other islands, besides the fact that it's 3 elements instead of 4, breeding wise, is the currency. It's like the Colosseum, um, in the fact that the main currency is metals rather than coins or relics or shards. So the monsters here are bought through shards and then bread. The single elements here are brought. The single elements here are bought through metals and then bread. Where am I going with this? So then that sort of begs the question: what about the non? So that begs the question: what about the other monsters? Like, there's more Pomely monsters than that, so how do you get them? And that is where I introduce these 2 new structures on either side of the castle here. So this, let me zoom out a little bit. This, I'm going to start over here. This is Mama Mama. Essentially, Mama Mama is the nursery for the non-breedable Pomely members. So what happens is the egg ends up here, and it just incubates here instead of in the nursery. And then with Papa Papa, this is where you sort of, like, get the members of the Pomely to put them into incubation. And I don't know if I mentioned it yet or not, but it's a rhythm game. The Pomely theme is mixed with rhythm game. Don't mind me opening my files. So if you look at this beautifully drawn map I have right here, this is sort of the level layout. So the black represents levels, right? And then the very thin black line represents the path that you have to take through the levels. And then the gray is just like batches of levels. So with level batches, there's only 2 batches, and it's at the beginning. These ones you have to complete all the levels before. For these, you have to complete all the levels before you can move on to the next either batch or level, depending on what we're talking about. So right here we have Pom Pom and Hula. It doesn't matter which order you complete them in, you just have to complete both of them to move on to the second batch, which would be the Fire and Magical Pomely members. Once again, order not mattering as long as you're talking about a specific batch. Like, you can't do any of these before this one. You have to do these 2, then you can move on to any of these 3. But from then on, it's one at a time in order. And I tried to order them in a very specific way song-wise, just to make it sort of build up over time. Like, I saved an important percussive monster for last simply because it makes the song sound more complete. So as you go through each level the first time, you will get the corresponding egg, basically. So for these two, you don't get an egg because it'd already be required that you'd have the egg. Considering Pom Pom and Hula are gotten through breeding. So here, I feel like it would just be a simple coin reward. But then from here on, you would get like Souza, Ruba, and Fushu's eggs. Um, but as you complete the levels for the first time, you get the eggs. And then once you get to the end, you get maybe about like 200 medals. That way you're making a profit. Um, Maybe even 500. I honestly don't know the value of medals in comparison to coins. So I can't gauge like a great amount. So I'm gonna say probably either maybe 200, 500, kind of undecided. 250, who knows? Just the amount doesn't particularly matter. There'd just be some sort of reward that would outweigh what you put into it. That way you actually have an incentive to complete the island. Um, but to give a bit of replayability, maybe there'd be like a scoring system for how well you do in each rhythm game. Um, so like maybe for we'll just say this is Souza. Maybe for Souza's level, you would the first time you play it, you'd get the egg no matter what. Maybe like if you did extra well, you get some bonus diamonds or relics or something like that. Um, but then um, maybe on the replay, since you don't get the egg, if you do pretty good, you get uh, like if you do. Let's start with. But then on the second time you go back and play Souza's minigame, if you do not so well, maybe you only get a few coins. If you do pretty well, maybe a pretty good amount of coins. If you do amazingly, maybe you'd get a few diamonds. Um, and as you get each reward, maybe getting that same reward sort of would get toned down. Like maybe you'd get 50 diamonds, not so much. Maybe you'd get 20 diamonds for doing perfectly on Sousa's level. But then if you go back and replay it again, since you had all that practice, maybe you wouldn't get 20 diamonds this time. Maybe you'd get 10, and then 5, maybe 3 and 2, and maybe just go to coins after that, you know? Because that way it's replayable, but it's not like extremely overpowered. And maybe it would reset like every Amber Island wave or something like that. I don't know, but just some sort of reason to play it again, but not make it too overpowered when you do play it again, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the whole gimmick of the island. It's just uh, Pomley Island, but it's a rhythm mini game, and the whole thing is sort of based upon that. So um, to to sort of summarize the coming week or two, to summarize the coming 2 weeks, we're going to be getting the monsters that can be bought and bred, and then we'll be getting the full song with them. And the full song will be coming on American Thanksgiving. But then the fire and magical monsters, those will be coming after that, and they'll be coming sort of in one batch because their levels are in one batch. Um, what was I saying? The levels are coming in one batch. Uh, hmm. So their levels will be coming in one batch. But then from there on, just like the levels, they're all going to be singular and on their own. I have no idea when the videos for this project will conclude, but I hope you enjoy this as I have put a lot of time and effort into this project. I also have two collaborations involved, so I'm excited for you to see those monsters, as I am very happy with, first of all, very happy and thankful for the concepts and the people who made them, and also very happy with how, if I'm being honest, most of the renders came out for this island. I'm very happy with the art of the monsters. Um, but that's pretty much it. Um, I should stop rambling on. Uh, Sounds starting tomorrow. Full song, American Thanksgiving. Trailer yesterday. So yeah, that's hopefully that was easy enough to follow. Um, if you have any questions or anything like that, I am very much willing to answer. Goodbye.